This video is about the upcoming total lunar eclipse that's going to occur on Tuesday, the 8th of November, 2022. First of all, we'll talk a little bit about how eclipses occur, that there are two basic types of eclipses, lunar and solar, and the difference between them. And I'm going to talk about, in particular, the lunar eclipse on the 8th of November. We also have two solar eclipses coming up in the next couple of years, so I'll mention those as well. Solar eclipses occur when the shadow of the moon hits the surface of the Earth. Either side of the shadow path, there is a path of partial eclipses, which are by far the most common. You have to be in a very specific area to be able to see the total eclipse of the sun. Annular eclipses of the sun are even more rare. That's when the shadow of the moon doesn't quite reach the Earth. So when you're looking up at the sun, you'll see the moon in the middle of the sun, with a bright ring of solar emission around it. That's why it's called annular. And then partial eclipses of the sun, which is far the most regular, is when the moon shadow does not impinge on the Earth and you just get a partial eclipse where the moon partly gets in the way of the sun. Lunar eclipses are the exact reverse of this, is where the moon moves into the Earth's shadow. That's the umbra, the deepest part of the Earth's shadow. And you get partial eclipses of the moon when the moon moves into the penumbra, where it can still see part of the sun, so the Earth is not completely blocking out the sun from the moon's point of view. You get three types of lunar eclipses. You get a total umbral eclipse, that's when it's completely in the Earth's shadow. You get a partial eclipse when the moon just skims through the umbra and remains mainly in the penumbra, and it looks like this. And then you can get a complete umbral eclipse when the moon just remains in that outer shadow. And actually, those happen quite often, and it's hard to see that something is going on. The moon just dims slightly. This is what the lunar eclipse is going to look like on the 8th of November. It's going to start off, these times, by the way, are in universal time or Greenwich Mean Time. So you have to calculate what your difference of time is between Greenwich Mean Time and your local time. It'll start off as a deep penumbral eclipse at 8:55. It'll go to partial eclipse about 9:44. Totality begins at 10:17. It's the greatest eclipse is at 10:59, and the end of totality is at 11:42, in which case it goes into partial eclipse for a while and then gets into penumbral eclipse by 13:05. So I'm in the Washington DC area, so I have to, which is generally 5 hours different from universal time. The penumbral eclipse begins at 3:02 a.m. in the morning. The partial eclipse begins at 4:09. The total eclipse begins at 5:16. The maximum eclipse occurs at 5:59, and the total eclipse ends at 6:41. And as you can see, sunrise is just shortly thereafter. So this eclipse is going to occur as the moon sets. So it's actually quite spectacular. So you're going to have a moon deep red in the western sky right near the horizon, which usually makes it look larger. That is actually an optical illusion, because it isn't any larger. And the moon sets just a few minutes later. So the best time to see this is sometimes like 5:15 to 6:15, and so that's the time to be getting up and taking a look at what's going on, unless you want to see the whole thing. This is a lunar eclipse picture. Anything in the dark area will not be able to see any part of the eclipse. So Western Europe and Africa are fresh out of luck in this one. We on the east coast of the United States will see the eclipse as the moon sets. If you're in the middle of the Pacific Ocean, say like Hawaii, you'll see the whole eclipse from beginning to end. If you're in Eastern Asia, you're going to see the eclipse as the moon rises. So why does the moon turn red at the maximum of the eclipse? Here you have sunlight coming in from the left, and when the moon is in the Earth's deep shadow, the light from the sun will be refracted round the Earth's atmosphere. Blue is refracted most, or scattered most, and so that's why our sky is blue. Red least. And so if you're looking from the moon back at the Earth at this time, the sun will be behind the Earth, and there'll be a red ring around the edge of the Earth, which will be illuminating the moon, make the surface of the moon turn red, which is when we're looking back at the moon, we will see a red moon. How do you view a lunar eclipse? Well, it's very easy. The best way is with the naked eye. You can enhance things a little bit with binoculars or a spotting scope or a telescope. And of course a camera. You can always take lovely pictures of this, and this will be an ideal opportunity to take photographs of the moon, particularly as it's going to be low in the sky from the US. The next total eclipse of the moon visible from the United States won't be until the 13th of March 2025, so you've got a 2 or 3 year wait before you get the next one. There are 2 total solar eclipses visible from the US in the next couple of years. One is on the 14th of October 2023, that's an annular eclipse, and one on the 8th of April 2024, and that's a total eclipse, and that one's going to be quite exciting. I'll make videos about these closer to the time. So thank you for watching. I wish you clear skies for the night of the eclipse, and until next time, goodbye.